Hey everyone, this is a really powerful Thunderbolt 5 docking station which supports up to 120 gigabits of bandwidth, 140 watts of power delivery so you can charge your phone and use your laptop at the same time, and it supports up to 2 8K screens or 3 4K screens at 144Hz. So if you regularly use laptops, what you'll probably know is there's just simply not enough ports on them, and that's where something like this, a high quality docking station, comes in. Okay, let's weigh it before we carry on. So you're looking around 780 grams, which, yeah, is no surprise really, because it does feel quite sturdy. And let's actually have a look at it. I've got a feeling it's metal as opposed to plastic. Yeah, that looks quite nice. Feels cold to look across my face. So yeah, that is, a nice metal finish. All along, it's got feet there as well, and this has a built-in fan, and you can see, it's got heat dissipation along there, and on the other side as well. So yeah, it's got it on both sides, and then you've got all of your ports. So you've got your audio jack, micro SD and normal SD card slot. You've got USB-A ports, which is up to 10 gigabit. Then you've got your power delivery, to a laptop or something like that. That's up to 140 watts. And then you can charge your phone as well up to 30 watts, which is really cool. You've got your power button there, which feels nice and sleek. And then on the other side, you've actually got a lock. If you wanted to lock this down, it supports that. You've also got 2 more USB-Cs, you've got more USB-As, you've got your 2.5 gig Ethernet port, and then you've actually got the DC in. Okay, so put that to one side, but what else is in the box? So we have our safety information booklet, yeah, whatever. Then you've got some driver download links, and then you've got your quick start guide, and it's actually quite a nice quick start guide. You've got a QR code, which I'll hold up there if you wanted to look at that. But obviously you do have quite a comprehensive user guide, which comes in lots of different languages as well. Just if you would prefer that, I'll hold up the English version just so you can see that there. So it's saying how you actually use it, you connect everything up, with USB-C and connect up the Ethernet. It's telling you what everything does, and then it's got certain rules about, if you wanted to use 8K or 4K, how you would actually do that. So you've got all the rules there, and then you've got a bit of an FAQ, and then the rest of the user guide is just in different languages. You can see that there. So you've got that user guide, and then you've actually got this as well, which is just the cables and things like that. So you've got your power brick and your USB cable. That is quite a big, power brick there. Obviously, it will vary depending on where you are in the world as to, obviously this is a 3-prong one for the UK. It might be slightly different if you're in the, US or something like that. You've got that there. I'm not going to show you how you actually plug that in, but it is a big, hefty power brick. If you actually compare the power brick to the actual device, there's not that much difference in size or weight, to be honest. I think actually the power brick might almost be heavier. And then you've got this particular cable, which is just going to be, actually it's talking about how thick it is as well, which is pretty cool. It does feel like a nice sturdy cable, which is what you want if you're dealing with Thunderbolt 5 and things like that. So you just got your cable there, which is a Thunderbolt 5 rated cable up to 80 gigabits per second and everything else. And obviously you're going to use this included cable in the main one here, which is, up to 140 watts power distribution. You're going to connect that up to your laptop, and then that's going to give you both connectivity to the docking station and, to monitors and the keyboard and mouse. And it's also going to charge up your laptop. So let's look at that next. And voila, we now have a situation where, just with this one single cable, which you can see WAVLINK there, connecting my laptop in and also supplying power, it's charging up my laptop, I now have access to the rest of my desk. Although it turns out this monitor doesn't support USB-C, so yeah, let's ignore that. But this one is a modern monitor that supports USB-C, so I've used a Thunderbolt 5 cable to connect that into the actual dock, as you can see there. And then, oh God, what did I just do? Oh no, I turned it off. Look, one minute. Right, so when you actually turn it on and you get the green light, you got that single cable going to the laptop, which then gives access to everything else which is plugged in, as we're going to see in a minute. 3, 2, 1, and yes, look at that. So yeah, basically I've connected this monitor up to the, to the actual WAVLINK Thunderbolt dock with a Thunderbolt 5 cable. I got my keyboard and my mouse hooked in as well, and some Ethernet, and obviously the power going in there. And then what happens is, I could almost put my laptop to one side and use this completely normally if I wanted, as just another monitor and everything else. Or obviously I could use both, so then I could have as a dual monitor setup and have more real estate. And that's actually a really, really cool thing. The other thing you could actually do is make use of the fact that this has like SD card slots and power delivery 30 watts there as well. So I could actually get a USB cable and then charge up my phone. And even though it's only 30 watts, it's actually charging quite quickly because it's 54% done, and it's saying that in 29 minutes, it's going to finish charging, which might be to 80% as opposed to 100% based on what I've set it to, but that's actually quite a nice boost. Equally, you can actually transfer files via the SD card slot, so we'll just put that in there, And because this is obviously Thunderbolt 5, it's going to be really, really quick. And you can actually see that it's transferring it over 200 megabytes per second. And that's actually really fast. That's the sort of speed I get when I'm actually using the main USB-C ports on my actual desktop computer. So the fact that this is actually getting over 200 megabytes per second on a really big file is actually really impressive. So this is the WAVLINK Thunderbolt 5 docking station. It works really well for me because I do frequently switch between my laptop and my desktop computer. I'll put some links in the description if you wanted to check this out more, and if you've got any questions as well, please leave them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up button, and please subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.